It's time for NugLife Radio, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community, featuring Medi Mike with the cannabis correspondent, Benji. Like us on Facebook.com/NugLife Radio Show, Twitter @TheRealNugLife, and Instagram NugLife Radio. I'm your announcer, Recreational Wiley. Here's Medi Mike.
Everybody, welcome to another beautiful week here at the NugLife Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Merry Christmas, happy third day of Hanukkah to everybody out there. Big shout out and thank you to DabX. I've been using this thing all week, and it has suicided me at least 4 times. Honestly, one of the best rigs that I've ever got to try. So make sure you check out DabX, dabx.coms, and everybody seems to know who they are, though, because every time I bring it out, they try to jack me. Big shout out and thank you to the Tokeland Senior Event. We got to go to that. Miss Amy Fisher had brought me and Paul last week. Paul won 2.5 pounds of sticks and stems and all kinds of goodies that were floating in there. We are your hosts. We need to treat our seniors better. That's what it comes down to. We have the NugLife News correspondent, Mr. Benji Cooper, with us today. Benji, you there?
How's it going?
There he is. Paul Brumbaugh is going to be running all of our production over here at Edge Studios Online. If you'd like to listen to it while it's going, or check it out on YouTube or Instagram, or just literally just streaming through mine for 2 people watching Paul play around on the keyboard. We have, and I'm your host, Medicinal Mike, cannabis comedian, event host, and all things that are great. We also have, don't forget, December 23rd, we're having a toy drive at the Ahern Casino out in Las Vegas. And we got a lot of toys, and thank you to Renee Muniz, who is helping out Mr. Harris get all those toys from point A to point B to make a lot of kids very happy on this holiday season. Big thank you to my production coordinator, Erica Wilson. She's at home right now. Doing awesome things. Just wanted to say hi to her. And we're the NugLife Radio Show. Again, higher level of education. Today's guests are going to be comedian Mark Neuer, and we have Mr. Wayne Justman. He's going to be in with us. And we have a great show. Oh, and a big RIP to Mr. Vincent Renfro, who is one of the co-creators of the Champs Trade Show, one of the hottest trade shows that goes on in the Las Vegas area. And I believe they tour around as well. But I had the honor to meet him, and he was an amazing person. So, let's get into the news. Everything always goes wrong here. The Farmer's Cup returns, and it just faded out on my top line, Paul's printer. The Farmer's Cup returns to San Diego. The Farmer's Cup is one of the coolest events. I've had the pleasure of hosting that one many times, and it brings the top growers, and they get together and find out who has the best of the batch. Benji Cooper, you're always there every year.
Yeah, and the thing about this one is the people get to judge what's the best. It's not the companies. It's not just some special cabal of judges that get to pick it behind closed doors. It's actually people who come in and get the judges' kits. This competition is going to be different than some of the other ones because some of them are very.
And it's legal too. It's a legal competition.
100% legal. There are lawyers involved in it. And this one is for flowers, edibles, and pre-rolls. Competitors need to drop off their entries by the 19th of next month. And
where do they take them?
What's that?
Where do they take them? If you give me your address, and I know you're BSing.
I don't have the address. I believe it is at the
Benji's house, Southern California. Bring all your cannabis.
It might be at the San Diego Cannabis Farmers Market headquarters.
Okay, and I know they do a couple works with dispensaries. I'm not sure who to plug it, but
right. Last time, or one of the recent times, it was Cookies down in Mission Valley, I think.
Yeah, that was a great one too. That was just a giant box full of goodies. You take your judging seriously too. I'll have that box and I'll smell and do some stuff, but you know, you go through every single strain and you write a little dissertation. You're like one of the more serious cannabis judges.
And those kits will be available for pickup January 27th through the 29th. You can turn your ballots in by February 12th. That's the deadline. And the awards ceremony, these are always fun, is on February 25th. And the People's Choice winners will get their logos engraved on light up crystal trophies. So that's pretty cool.
You know, I've been hosting that show, I think, for 8 years, and every time the show comes up, Josh will just act like he's, I'm like, hey, I'm hosting this, right? Oh, well, I don't know. I'm like, I'm hosting this, no. Well, I've done 16 of these shows. You better have my box.
And one thing I like about the farmers market is whether it's these competitions or the sessions that they've done in the past, there's always some unique theme or something new about them. They used to hold the sessions back in the 215 era, and they had them like at the Fire Garden out in Bonsall. They had skate and bakes. So they always keep it interesting. That's one great thing about the farmers market. And they've done a lot of good here in San Diego for the cannabis community.
I hosted the Skater Bake too. Josh, make sure my box is ready for, when is that, January?
Yes, that's when the judges' kits will be ready for pickup.
January 27th. Come and meet me at the farmers market. Wherever they are giving out those kits, I will be there to
keep you up to
sample stuff with you. Oh, no, I'll be there all 3 days. I'm just going to be there.
Well, I mean, the people listening, we'll keep them up to date.
Of course.
They want to participate.
So, going on in the headlines, Florida set to grow the number of medical cannabis licenses in the state. So they're about to add more licenses out there in the alligator state.
Yeah, they're actually looking to double them. CBD has been legal in Florida since 2014, and they legalized medicinal use in 2016. But in that time since, they really haven't nailed down all of their regulations. Currently, there's 22 cannabis companies operating in the state, and they're looking to double that to 44. The law would require the creation of 4 new treatment centers licenses for every 100,000 new patients. So 25,000 patients per, I'm guessing that's the treatment center. I'm guessing that's their term for dispensary.
I feel like CBD's played out. Like, everybody knows, usually you go whole plant or, a Rick Simpson oil. But CBD, I feel like, just kind of came out because they pulled a cannabinoid. It was the easiest for them to pull, and they knew they can get around the laws with it. But now that the laws have kind of opened up to everything, you see a lot more people focusing on CBGs and THCAs and crystallizing and all kinds of stuff. And I only find that the CBD market tends to be some of the profiteers that are kind of still lingering.
Well, I think that, that's definitely true. The CBD did cause a huge crack in the dam. And it's a good cannabinoid to kind of cause that crack because it's.
I had a CBD company.
Oh, yeah?
CBD
Patience
treated me well.
Patience drinks, right?
Yep, Patience drinks. COVID took those out. Rest in peace, fruity drinks. I have Patience comic books though, and Patience short series. The brand still lives on. Let's see what this says. Sterling founder says CBD helped save his life. See, I talk all that shit, and then here comes the story. Oh, CBD saved my life. So I guess CBD is not playing out. It's saving lives again.
Per se, it helped in the process. It's Sterling founder Joe Krisak. He left a successful career in corporate America to start the Sterling Company in 2020. And he's an avid runner, but he began experiencing cramps in his calf after running short distances. And it turned out that the impact from running had damaged a cancerous mass. And so he underwent a cystectomy, and he underwent chemotherapy to eradicate the cancer. And he says that from what I understand, it's completely gone now, but he was on a regimen of cannabidiolic acid, which is CBDA, and cannabigerolic acid, CBGA, regimen to help keep him hydrated. And he says it was the only thing that made him feel better. And that regimen allowed him to keep running, which his doctor said saved his life.
I would bet anything that he had THC and everything else in his system too, and those are just the ones he's touting out. Maybe to save his avid sports career.
He and his Sterling team, he said they together they worked on and created a balm that helped relieve his symptoms.
They were getting high. Well, that's our headline news. Thank you, Benji, for helping me get through with that. We do have more news coming up later, the real serious, deep stuff that we're going to be doing, and you're going to learn a lot about it. Benji, thank you again for that help. I am going to get to our first guest, because that's what the clock tells me to do. Welcome to the show. This is one of the first people I ever actually got to. Well, that's how I mute my own mic. Good for me. This is one of the first people that I got to meet in cannabis. One of the forefathers, did a lot of work with Mr. Perone, and when I was introduced, when I was just starting out, this is like 11 years ago, and these were like I'm Italian and have that East Coast attitude, but those were the made men, Mr. Wayne Justman. Wayne, welcome to the NugLife Radio Show. How are you doing today, brother?
Thank you. It's my pleasure indeed.
I'm going to point
Hi,
a camera
everybody.
at you so they can look at you there, too.
Uh-oh. There we go.
You have had, and I wish I could remember the name, but because you've been since the beginning, and you were here before legalization, before Prop 215. You were working in cannabis. After Prop 215 with Prop 64. But what haven't you done yet, Wayne?
It's let me start out. Cannabis for me is necessary. I'm about 37 years HIV positive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that in the 90s, Dennis and myself and Amy and other people were worried about was this is a hell of a disease that's affecting our community. And many of our first, what we say, patients or individuals that came through our dispensary were men who were HIV positive. And at that time, I didn't know, and I don't think they did, is the medicine that we're taking going to kill us, or will the virus? AZT and Zerit, if I remember correctly, were the two that were available for people starting out. And I know how it affected me personally. And I had conversation with other individuals that came in, and it seems like we were all in the same boat. We're HIV positive. We're taking this medication, which makes us feel terrible, and we're not sure about that. But we do know one thing that we can be sure about. We're here because cannabis helps alleviate that pain that we all are experiencing. And I know for myself, one of the reasons why I use cannabis to diminish, if I can, the pain that's associated with the virus at that time.
And back then, you wouldn't even hear of somebody 37 years being HIV positive. As soon as you got it, almost, it was within years.
It was a situation, well, how long did that last? That was, I think, for all of us. Because Dennis and ourselves, and so many of us had dispensaries, how many people did we bury? And there was nothing easy about their dying, nothing at all. And so you had to reach out. And the thing of it was, I was around a lot of compassionate people. I mean, Dennis Perone, obviously, but Mary Rathburn, Brownie Mary, and Jack Hara.
Brownie Mary.
Jack Hara, Eddie Lepp, Amy Fisher, Brian Miller, all of these people who have it in their character and in their heart to reach out and say, I'll help you. I'll be there when you need someone's back. Because a lot of times people wanted to shun us. Oh, HIV positive, we've got to stay away from them. It's contagious or whatever the hell it is. A lonely time. And for those that had to pass away during those difficult 80s and 90s and early 2000s, not only was it difficult, it was lonely. Yeah. And we had to reach out and say, we got a hand to hold as you're going through your transition.
Do you feel like it was the medications or the illnesses that were causing a lot of the deaths that happened in the 80s?
I think it's a combination of both, because, again, in those times, we didn't have a lot of understanding of HIV positive, what HIV was. And nor do we have an understanding of cannabis and what it was. One of the great lines that Dennis always used was, all use of cannabis is medical.
Yes, that's right. You can't not use it medically.
and you could extrapolate that out a bit and say, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. If you're just sitting down. Anyway, it was difficult times for us at times to try to figure out how can we, quote, use cannabis, which some people thought was an illegal drug at that time to help us alleviate the problems that we had. We had doctors, however, in the Bay Area that did understand what cannabis was as far as helping the patients. And I know all the doctors that I've had, even the present doctors that I have today, understand cannabis. They understand how it can be helpful for us. I know in my own life, I've got enough history to say, well, this has done this, and this. And I feel pretty good. Next month, I'll be 78.
Yeah.
So, I've got to keep it going.
The rate of mortality now with HIV is just, you almost don't hear about anybody passing away from HIV anymore.
Truly, the Bay Area Reporter, you pick up and there are about 3 or 4 names, and a lot of them you knew. But now we don't have folks that are passing away through the virus. It's still affecting individuals, and we still have to be comfortable on our responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera. But because of the medications that they have now, the likelihood that a person would really get worse, your physical being, your mental well-being, et cetera, get worse, is unlikely. We don't read about that anymore. It's just not. I don't want to say it's not there. It's just not as prevalent. Let me put it that way. It's just not as prevalent because, like I say, the Bay Area Reporter had a page of people, their obituaries. If you remember that, those days, et cetera, that was a little bit frightening because sometimes you wake up, oh, hell, am I going to be on this page? Am I passing, whenever that comes? Frightful time.
How old were you when you found out that you had HIV?
88, that'd be 43.
That would be in 88.
Yeah.
That was, and when did HIV go public? Let's say I know they made there was a movie. Mark knows.
No, it was just no.
But I mean, that's right when it came out. It
was probably in the late 80s,
like in the fear.
And in the 80s and 90s, and just like everything else, like this damn COVID virus, we're going to fear the hell out of you. We're going to throw everything at you it's going to be hurtful, et cetera, and obviously that's a gay disease, and you know how they get it. Come on, give me a break.
I had always thought it was something that was put out there by government to control population, to control minority or gay or because it was just like, where the hell did it come from, and they'll tell you, the jungles or whatever, but right, I'm a huge. Say that one more time, Savannah.
And it hits that marginalized group.
Right, and it hit them direct. Like it went right after the black and gay community.
Well, we start to wonder if it's you start I start thinking about conspiracy theories when you start thinking about oh wait, it hits a marginalized group or a race or a sect of people. It's like, really? Have you gone out of your way just to? But it's just the role of the science dice. We never know what we're going to get when it comes to the human body, right? So.
I remember too, back in the HempCon days. That's where I first got to meet you. Actually, it was Marilyn J. brought me over to Mr. Perone's house at the castle, which is one of the most, it is a magical place. Like if you're listening out there and you've never been to the Castro Castle, this place, every single flower leaf in the back is painted a different color. The stairs, everything has autographs and signatures of just amazing people throughout the industry, and gay rights activists and cannabis activists, and they've all been to this one place, like this little magical place, and there were mirrors above the beds. It was a great time at the castle. What's your best time at the castle that you could say on a PG-13 show?
You really want me to talk about it? You say, hello? I've been there 30 years.
Go to NC-17.
Let me see. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Yes, bleep, bleep, bleep. Okay, yes, bleep, 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 bleep.
I had mushroom tea there once. There was a bunch of 420 nurses in one of the rooms down here. I was up here with MJ, and gosh, who else was there? The house was full Like
Yeah,
it was
that
full.
figures.
And everyone had breakfast together. Everybody was schmooming, and the whole back patio is like a Peter Pan. You know, where it's like the trees, and then you have little bridges that are going from cabin to cabin, and truly, no, I've never seen anything in my life, and I've been to 9 countries. Nothing compares to what's going on at that Castro.
You know who
campsite.
helped Dennis put that together as far as the artwork is concerned?
Who's that?
Gilbert Baker.
Oh, really?
Gilbert Baker, that mural that's outside and everything on the inside. Gilbert spent a lot. Well, we won't go into some things. He passed away.
beep,
I couldn't
beep.
share. Anyway, but he did a lot of things, and it's a spectacular place to go. One of the things that I've always enjoyed about the castle, and I'll be over there tomorrow, you can be who and what you are, observing social guidelines. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get into somebody's face or that jerkiness. But I don't see that there because the kind of folks that come there are not that way.
Right.
They're really just comfortable. They're what, please? They are. It's just. It really is. I mean, Amy Fisher. You could talk to her. I mean, it's wonderful. The people that go over there, and what they do.
Amazing eccentrics,
It is
too.
because it's a come as you are, sharing what you are. And that's what it is. You know, they've done this. They're working on this project. They're going to be doing this. They've got these things involved, et cetera, all tied to cannabis, which is necessary for us that believe. I believe it. All use of cannabis is medical, and it's an important thing. I was saying earlier that New York. I was just listening this morning. Jason Beck, one of our friends down in Hollywood, who Brian and I helped set up a dispensary down there. He has a program called High at Noon. And New York, just going through some things. And a couple of days ago, they had Minnesota trying to do some things. And I'm listening to this shit. I hope that
You can
bleeps
say
out.
shit.
I was listening to this stuff. And it's like, oh, I have my fiefdom now on cannabis is it. Minnesota, this is our fiefdom. We're going to trade it this way. Now, New York is trying to figure something else out. It's like, I don't know if they understand this concept. Cannabis is grown from the dirt. Water and sunshines exploded that seed. Not produced in a laboratory with various chemicals. We'll try this. No. This is a natural plant that's grown here
For the
before-
small fee.
right. Before I believe it was before mankind was even here.
Oh, yeah. Well, they find in the tombs from Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt and things like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yet, we are so sophisticated on various aspects of our life, and yet stuck on stupid when it comes to cannabis. It's when all of us were together, putting 215 together, certainly we had no idea of what its future would look like now 24 years since our work. It still amazes me the confusion that exists, but what doesn't amaze me is the opposition to it. Nobody can tell me what the hell is so hard for someone to use cannabis. Tell me. If you're a responsible person,
Right.
if you're a responsible person. Now, watching the news today, by the way, and our local channels, California Highway Patrol's getting up their thing for the highway, and no drunk drivers are going to do this and this and that and this and that. I didn't hear a word about cannabis police getting together to do anything. I didn't hear a word about that because somebody says, "Can you overdose on cannabis?" Somebody who uses cannabis a lot, the two things that are going to happen when they use it: one, they're going to get hungry, or two, they're going to go to sleep. Now, which one do you want?
Right. All right.
They're not going to
Not necessarily in that order either.
No. They're going to eat, then they go to sleep. But the point is, they're not starting a revolution or raising hell for their neighbors of any sort. No, they're not. They're not going out and rob gas station. Well, I got to rob this service station because I need $20 bag of hit. No. That's not going on.
Can you imagine trying to rob the AM/PM guy for weed and you tell him and he just hands you weed instead? Like,
there it is.
Let's
There
just
it
cut
is.
out the middle.
There it is. Yeah.
Here's a bag of weed.
There it is. There it is.
Save your life. Is there somewhere where people can reach out and get a hold of you or talk to you? Do you do social medias?
I am on Facebook. I don't have email. I'm not that sophisticated in all these stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not that sophisticated. I am just a poor wild.
We're not that great at it either. I don't know if you've seen.
I'm just a poor wild country boy.
Yeah.
You know, when I looked out my bedroom window, I watched cows grazing and corn growing.
That's that's what I was going to tell you. You used to scare the shit out of me. 10, 11 years ago when I started, and I was just still green as shit. And you guys were like this. It was like a weed mafia thing. Like it was a tight little clutch. And there'd be like 6 or 7 ears all clutched together, and you were like the biggest and the big beard, and and it was like if you want to talk to Dennis, you got to get through Wayne. I mean, for years, scared the shit out of me.
No, look how easy it is, Hey, let's get high.
Once I got to know you and I stayed, and everything was normal. It was just all in my head.
It ain't no thing. I remember.
You guys were on pedestals.
The dispensary's in its operation, yada yada yada, and the feds are all over our ass. And Dennis was being interviewed. A lot of people remember him, and I had no title. People were interviewing me but I had no title. And said, Dennis, what the hell do they call? What do I call myself? He said, head of security. I said, head of security? I said, there's nothing secure about this building. We didn't have problems at that time, but we were overwhelmed. It was a great time. You were there. It was a great time.
You'll never see it again. Like I tell people, like until the next wave or if something happens, it's very rare that you're going to find, and we were even, at the tail end of it, but where it's an us against them situation, against the government and everybody persecuting cannabis.
What I liked about it was poor people. And not only that, queer people. Queer people, myself, queer people. We were the ones that were getting it done. I'll tell you one of the things, and I was telling some friends, one of the best demonstrations that I had and participated in, Asa Hutchison was the drug czar at that time. He was speaking at the Commonwealth Club, which is located at 5th and Market or something like that. Terrence Hallinan, who at that time was a sitting district attorney, Tom Amiano, who at that time was the president of the Board of Supervisors, Dennis, myself, Jim Hammer, I can go on people were outside on Market Street complaining. Yet, for some reason, our voices, they could hear upstairs on the 5th floor of the and we were raising some hell. It was necessary for us to let them know, hey, you're on our turf. We welcome you, but your positions are not welcome. Your positions are not welcome. We are going to insist that people have access to cannabis, and at that time, that's what we were working on. But to see the district attorney and the president of the board of supervisors, myself, and a few other people out there raising hell, it was a great time. But it had to be done.
And just kind of in closing, if you have somebody who's just coming up into the cannabis industry now, they're just coming of age or seeing what's going on, what kind of advice would you give them? Let's say a young gay male.
Know what the hell you're going to represent, then represent it to the best of your ability. Know what you're talking about. Have a complete understanding, the pros and the cons. so that if you are in a discussion, both for and against, you can appreciate that and make it educational and informative for the listener. That's important. And then have the guts to follow through. The feds are all over our ass in those times. They closed Dennis. They raided the castle. They raided 1444 Market Street. They were all over my club at 350 Divisadero. All of us at that time. You took those, quote, penitentiary chances. Side note, Dennis was raided in 1998, spring of 1998. It took me a year to find a facility that will allow us to sit, consume, and have cannabis on site. The reason why it took us so long, every property owner that we went to were worried that the feds, if it was in there, were going to grab your property, put your ass in jail. That's it. Didn't have a law on their side, but that's the fear that they instilled. And I had a couple of good guys write letters of support for me. One was Mark Leno. He was a board of supervisors. And this other fellow, what the hell, he's got a part-time job now as a governor of California. Oh, yeah, Gavin Newsom. I met Gavin when he was first, when Willie put him on the board of supervisors in 1995. And Gavin and Mark Leno wrote letters of support for me when I had to take to the landlord to say, hey, here's some support that we've got going, yada, yada, yada. I could tell you stories, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway.
That's an awesome one.
Yeah, it was good times. It was good.
Wayne, thank you for coming on to the show
my
today.
pleasure. Thank
we
you for the
appreciate
invite.
it. It's always great to see you. Hopefully I get to see you again at the castle. Are they still doing the bed and breakfast there? Or?
No. But they're still, they're still going.
Holiday parties might even come to Christmas with us.
Oh, yeah, Christmas, that's going. And then there's a huge gathering on the 20th of January. They're going to have some people from the end. They're going to have 10 farmers that grow this stuff, yada, 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 there, and they want people to meet him and all. Going to have probably a huge blast.
That's cool.
It's Friday, January 20th.
Speaking of a huge blast, shout out to Amy Fisher's Super Fudge. Super Fudge.
I'm not sure. There it goes. Come here over this way. How do we do this?
Shit's
Here we
incredible.
go over here.
That's Wayne Justman.
There we go.
Make sure you can find him on Facebook.
Yes.
It's the only way you're going to find him. Don't email him. You'll never reach him.
No, I don't know. I got this, but for some reason my email doesn't work.
Well,
Anyway.
they've done buttons. Thank you again for being on the
pleasure.
show.
Good evening.
One of the top cannabis activists in the entire world. And we appreciate you taking the time
It's
to
an
hang
only
with us.
position right now because I went to the Cannabis Club, Elmer Cup. The people that I've worked with, no longer around. Dennis is gone.
Oh.
Mary Bathron is gone. Jack Herr is gone. Eddie Leppard's gone. These are the people that I worked with, putting all of this stuff together, and they're all gone.
Well, it's
And
a
little
blessing that you're still
it's,
here.
It's a little bit thing, that I'm still here. You're gonna newsflash. Tim Blake emailed me the other day. They're gonna honor me at next year's Emerald Cup.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Shout out to Tim, too.
Tim,
We love you,
get
Tim.
Get Amy up here. She's got a lot to talk about.
Thank you again. That was Wayne Justman for NugLife Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Yeah, you can sit there. I just have your mic muted. Next up on our show, and then we're going to get to the news, and then we'll all combine on the news. It'll be awesome, Coop. Welcome to the show, comedian. Good luck following that last act. Comedian Mark Neuer. He's a San Francisco stand-up comic. Loves cannabis. Loves
yeah.
cellular phones.
Yeah. I like the money I make off the cellular.
We
phones.
almost got jumped together outside by a crackhead,
Yeah. Oh my
fentanyl
God.
head, whatever it was. Tried to get us with a rock.
You either need to get them or I'm going to break them. My favorite quote of the day so far. Now, a quick question. Is that Jack? You said Jack Herrera?
Jack Herr.
That's the guy. That's who made the strain, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, what an
Jack Herr.
incredible strain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What an incredible. That's a really good sativa. I'm sure you will. I'm excited.
What's your favorite strain of weed,
Holy
Mark?
fuck.
I'll lighten it up with you.
I like forbidden fruit. I like the tangy.
How
kind
old
of-
are you now? You look young.
I'm 27.
Oh, you're still a baby. How long
Yeah.
you been doing comedy? About 5 years now?
Just over 5 years.
Is that what you want to be as a
When I
comic,
grow up,
or what's
yeah.
when you grow
When
up?
I grow
I'm still
up,
working
I
on it
wanna be
myself.
Funny. Yeah, dude, that's the goal, man. Just be entertaining and be in front of people and use my voice. So even if that comes into like voice acting, or I'm not really an actor, but if I or acting or whatever.
Oh, voice acting's not real acting.
No. But I can, and that's why I can do it.
Right.
That's why I can do it 100%. So, but I think really I always want to be doing stand up. I always want to be pursuing that, but I just don't want to have to like clock in and out all the time.
Well, what came first, the weed or the comedy?
Weed came. Well, the abusive father came first.
Bad parents make great comics.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, the traumatizing childhood started.
Yeah, you need
I think
that,
the weed
though. You need
and
that.
the weed. You know what I mean? So I think I've always been a stand-up. Like I've always been the funny guy, trying to be silly or whatever to relieve the pressure. I deal with shit with humor.
Right.
So I honestly think the comedy came first, but I was young when I started smoking weed. Yeah.
Are you married, kids?
No, fuck no.
Neither. None of them.
Absolutely not.
First F-bomb of the show. Thanks for
No,
that.
So hold on. I had to ask.
It's all Paul's friends. Paul's friends come in and just curse all over the place.
Is it PG-13?
Well, it was.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
Didn't the censor get it? Sorry.
Are you a writer as well?
Absolutely.
Say that again, Benji.
You get one F-bomb in a PG-13.
Is it? That was our F-bomb. We got our F-bomb.
That's the
got
rule.
one.
All right. It's
No
always the
F-bombs.
comic that gets us on the end on that one.
Yeah, I write.
That's
I
dead.
try to write every day. I try to just write new stuff, and then I also write on stage. So like I'll
Like while you're doing your routine, you're
yeah,
writing.
in my head. So like I'll start with a bit.
It's called
that
thinking.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a verb to write.
Yeah, it's my only version of thinking is just writing. Yeah, I'll be on stage and I'll start with just like something I did write on a notepad and.
Do your whole set real quick. No, I'm just
shit.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I hate when people tell me that.
My manager tells me to clean this table so I can eat off of it. I eat ass. I don't know. Oh, it's PG-13. I can't do my set.
No, you could eat ass on PG-13.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my bit. That's my very first like banger joke was my manager wants me to clean the table so I can eat off of it while I eat butt. So
I eat butt.
yeah.
Okay.
I eat buttocks.
That's like a cool thing these days now. Like I feel like everybody's eating butts.
It's the only way to hook up.
Wayne, you didn't want to chime in on that one?
Literally just turned it
Like, I gotta go.
Are you asking me a personal question?
No. Just on the general subject.
If I've eaten butt.
Oh no, I feel like there's an answer I already know.
That's how you get into the castle.
I've eaten many.
Nobody was listening.
There's no door knocker anymore. It's just two cheek holes.
Things get knocked.
Cheek hole.
Things get knocked.
That's a new term for a butthole. Cheek holes.
If you get to that castle, it is a once in a lifetime experience.
Once in a lifetime lick.
I have done things there. I can only imagine. This is a lifetime member. I was just a tourist, and life-changing things happened under those walls.
And that's in the Castro?
Mhm,
I've
yeah.
never heard of this.
Did you ever watch Harry Potter?
Sure.
Imagine it, but just in one space, like the whole thing at once, with cannabis everywhere and colors and magic
Insects? Oh.
and yeah. There's a lot of
thought we were
there's
gonna combine
mirrors.
those two words.
I don't understand how the mirrors above the bed help the cannabis work better, but we tried.
Well, you always wanted to see what you looked like when you were smoking.
Yeah.
You want to see if you.
Is that what the mirrors were for?
In case you want to shave in bed.
Well, there are
Right, you're bed shaving.
there are other reasons why mirrors are above the.
There was nothing in that mirror that I enjoyed seeing. Like you hear about the mirror above the bed, it's like a myth because nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
And then when you see your own ass above you,
Yeah.
like the Holy Ghost,
Right.
it's not as pretty as I thought it was going to be.
Oh my God.
Well, if it's somebody else's ass, it might be.
That's true. Well,
Right.
that depends on who the bottom and the top.
Oh, all right.
That's true.
Right, Mark?
Yeah. I'm trying to just keep up, man. This fudge has me torn all the way backwards.
Yeah, you ate so much of that fudge, dude. When you see me going, you know what? I'm gonna wait a little while, so I'll eat that.
Let me get an advertisement. This fudge was made by Amy Fisher. Amy, she's been a dear friend for over 25 years.
The fudge has a reputation.
And I want to tell you, it does. It really, really does. When you put, who made it? The name, that does it right there. Amy Fisher, she knows how to put cannabis and baking products together to make such delicious fudge that will really mellow you out and, if not more, put you on your ass.
Yeah.
What part are you at?
Right now, dude, I'm somewhere right in between those two options.
There we go.
Yeah, we're going to take you to the Rainbow Castle.
Right.
There we go.
Put this mouth
There
to
we go.
work. You know what I mean?
You guys want to do some news with us?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
We had the bumper. Did you ever go in and get that bumper? Hold on, let me turn the camera to Paul again. Oh, shucks. That's our Paul. Coming up next on the NugLife Radio Show right now, Mark Neuer, too. Check him out on Instagram. Where? It's still going to be here. But
you can just type in my name, MarkNoyer. I got a couple clips on there. You can check me out on Instagram. Same, just my name. Anywhere you look for me, it's just my name.
And that's Noyer. Coming up next on the show, all of us doing the news with Benji Cooper. Benji Cooper's News on NugLife Radio.
Well, if you go to a casino, you'll find some high rollers. If you go to a church, you'll find some holy rollers. But if you go to a church in Georgia, you might just find some high holy rollers, perhaps. Pastor Jamal Bryans of the New Birth Baptist Church recently shared an idea to get more people, especially black men, he says, and those who smell like weed, into church. Pastor Bryans says that his church could possibly help those men find jobs in the cannabis industry. And he also says his church is the largest land-owning black church in America, and he's open to cultivating on the property and teaching those men how to farm cannabis. He says, I'm mindful that I'm not after Christians. I'm after people who don't go to church. I want people who smell like smoke because I believe these are the people God is looking for. And too many of us have become so puffed up in our self-appointed sanctification that we fail to do outreach. In no uncertain terms, is cannabis, or hemp, a ploy or distraction from winning souls to Christ? The call is not to bring people to smoke at church. The call is to bring people to church so they can catch on fire. And speaking of jobs in the cannabis industry, Brian says, he plans to open a clinic on the church's campus within 180 days. Now, medical cannabis is legal, but strictly regulated in Georgia, so it's unclear how Brian's intends to go about it. Ever gone to church high, Mike?
Yeah, that's why vape pens were invented. Yeah. So you can go to church, or you can go to court and still get high while you're there. I don't like when they have weed churches. Like, I would like a church that I can, if I want to smoke in a church, then go ahead, let it be a place I could smoke, or let it be a place, But when you brand it like that, it's monetizing. It's not about God anymore. It's about being popular and stuff like that.
Yeah, the monetization, I feel, is a little bit...
we're open to growing tax-free pot, are you?
Yeah. Teach people, affect their lives, but, when it becomes like a...
And what do you say, they want people to catch on fire in there?
Yeah, that's a term in Christianity, catch on fire for God.
Yeah, be on fire for
It's
Christ.
a term for Satanists, too.
Right.
Yeah, that works
Hot
both
for
ways.
the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm on fire.
That sounds like that commercial I woke up the other night and they said they wanted me to give my seed to the Lord. And I'm like, I'm not giving my seed to the Lord.
I don't know if he wants it.
What I do is when I have my seed in my hand, I throw it up in the air, and what he wants, he keeps, and the rest is mine.
Right.
Whatever comes back down. What else you got in the news, Benji?
Well, cannabis research is coming to Illinois in an official capacity. Last Thursday, the city of Chicago launched the Cannabis Research Institute in collaboration with the state and the Discovery Partners Institute, with the goal of furthering Illinois as a global cannabis science hub. According to city officials, federal cannabis policy is hindering scientific studies on the plant and its health effects. CRI says it wants to advance scientific and medical cannabis technology and provide cannabis research that will affect regulation and protect public health. Among proposed research topics are social equity impacts, medicinal and health effects, and agricultural practices. And if you're the executive director type, CRI is looking for one for its first of its kind center during the scheduled rollout over the next few months. Do you think that's a fun job, Mike? That's something you could do, executive direct a cannabis company?
That's a very hard job, actually. I've worked at
A research institute, actually.
Yeah, that's
Not just the company,
that's
it's
a
doing
real
research
job.
there.
Like when you want to work in weed, you want to be a bud tender, but during Prop 215 times. That's when it was fun. That's when, like when I ran a dispensary, I would have pajama day, and I make all the girls show up in their underwear. You know, it's not fun
They
like
can
that
still do
anymore.
that.
No, you
There's nothing
can't
preventing
touch
that.
the weed. You can't smell the weed. You go in the store, it looks like a CVS wall,
Right.
and nothing stands out anymore. They took the soul out of it, you know, and corporatized it. Cannabis used to have a life to it, like it was like they would have its own little being, its own little god, you know.
But this is what we've been fighting for. I mean, all that product selection, I highly appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I had product selection before. I mean, we were doing cups, man. We'd come home, probably smoke more strains than anybody alive. What are you talking? I need more. I miss the culture, you know, that's not there anymore. You know, now
No,
it's just
I totally get what you're saying.
it's like high school reunion.
I totally relate with that too.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are times when I'm in a dispensary, I'm like, I feel like I'm taking too long because there's too many choices. So every company has 10 different products in the case in front of you, and you're just like, okay, which one do I choose?
I'd still rather
That's why I
call
acknowledge
Brian and have
tender
him
comes in
whip up some wax in his garage for me. Yeah, the old PVC pipe and some butane. Never killed anybody
wax,
before.
yeah,
I've never heard
sparkle
anybody
a little bit.
dying of weed from back. Like, oh, I smoked moldy weed and now I have dead lungs, or like I have not heard that. So I don't know why it all of a sudden became an issue over the last 5 years. Not that I want to smoke moldy pot. Nobody wants to do that, but.
Fuck no.
Maybe because of legalization, and for something to be legal, they have to put all the regulations into place. Just, it's just like any other food product or drug or whatever in the legal market. Everything has regulation to keep it, above board and keep people from getting sick from contaminated products and such, That's all.
Are these
I found
medicated
Paul's. These are not medicated cough drops. Good catch. There you go. We found cough drops. We're starving. Everyone's got the munchies in here now. All we have to eat is
Jesus,
Paul's.
God, drop.
Bad when
Yes.
you're using cough drops.
Paul's in charge of craft service. We got either you can eat the fudge. Yeah, you can eat the fudge, and you're probably not going to make it over the bridge home.
Right.
Vicious circle.
Both of them at the
These
same
are
time.
mentholated like Mom used to make.
Like an Andy.
2 F-bombs. Well, Mark wanted to squeeze one more
I
out.
can't be trusted in front of a microphone, man.
One
Or
more out.
behind one.
What else you got on the news?
God bless. Thank God.
All right, well,
Thanks for letting me on the show.
toys and cannabis, they're both things that people generally find to be pretty fun, especially the latter of the two. But when they're together, the fun is doubled. Until the police get involved, that is. Back in October, police in Cambridgeshire, England, served a warrant at the former Toys and Pram shop on Hill Street, Wisbech. And if you're wondering what a pram is,
It's a
it's a stroller.
baby carriage.
Yeah. Police found the grow's two operators, 36-year-old Roberta Sela and 27-year-old Fioraldo Azizi on the first floor, and a total of 755 cannabis plants throughout the three-story building. According to estimates, the grow was worth between $257,000 and $772,000 converted from British pounds sterling. The two had also been stealing electricity to run their operation, with amounts totaling more than $56,000 US, not British. Sela said he was offered 300 pounds a month to water the plants, but Azizi was offered up to 8,000. What? On Friday, December 16th, the Cambridge Crown Court sentenced the two to 2 years and 8 months in prison. Now, there's an element of humor to growing cannabis in a former toy shop, but being locked up for a plant isn't. If cannabis were legal in the UK, there would probably be less people out there stealing electricity, which is a legit crime called theft.
That's how everybody gets busted stealing. We used to steal electric back in the day. We'd take a gram of weed and go, the lights will go out, a gram of weed. Whoever gets the electric on the fastest gets this gram, and within 15 minutes, they'll have that whole apartment building jump together. And we used to get free cable, free everything. Weed was the bartering chip.
Currency.
Just Just don't do it where it's cold in the winter.
Were there still toys in the toy shop?
Looking at your house.
Were they still toys in the toy shop, or they just took over an abandoned building and started growing in it?
I'm not entirely sure. In the picture that I found on Google Maps and the one they used for the article showed there were still toys in the window, so they might have used that as a
Cover.
kind of a cover there. Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
The dude had a toy shop, and they were growing weed
you
out
talk
of it.
about toys over at the castle or something.
Oh, those are very different toys at the castle.
These are Thomas the Tank Engine, not
For a moment, toys that you
Thanks
put
for
under the
buying
tree or
things.
toys that you
Put under the bed.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what toys you were talking about.
All the toys at the castle have a pull start. They're rewired for more power.
Oh goodness.
Toys.
That fudge just
Yeah.
hit you, huh?
Dude, I haven't even got to the fudge. The halls knocked me on my ass.
Complicated hall.
Gets right in your throat. Title of your porn. What else you got in the news?
That is this week's NugLife News. If you want more news from me during the week, check me out at Instagram at NugLife News and at Canageek News. Or if you want, you can head over to my website, canageek.net.
Bam. Make sure you check out Can of Geek. And he's doing cartoons now. Benji's making all kinds of cartoons and animations and things moving. He
I never stop.
never stops.
I'm always doing
He's my partner with the comics, and he's been
Okay.
doing it for he's everything artistic comes out of him. And he plays like 15 different instruments. I bought a lyre yesterday, which is a harp thing, and I can play it, and that's my thing for the thing. All right. Screw you guys. Nobody's impressed with medieval harps, huh? All right.
Start a medieval band.
What do you think of the world now, post 215, as before?
I think it's more confused right now. As I said, we've just heard what Chicago wants to do, and I've talked about earlier what New York. We got this pie, and we're going to cut it up our way. We're going to put restrictions on it our way. Then the person becomes confused. You know, what does the patient do? What does the grower do?
Like
Obviously,
Mark trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
get his weed from California to Colorado
yeah.
through Utah.
One of the things I heard, which I thought was an interesting conversation, was in Minnesota. What about their cannabis? Well, if anybody knows the state of Minnesota, you're not going to grow a lot of cannabis up there because
Right.
the weather
Minus
does not
33.
provide for it. Yeah,
Lord.
I don't know how cannabis does with 2 or 3 feet of snow on it. We've not tried that, but that's what the Midwest is going through right now. They've got to figure all of that out, where they're going to get cannabis.
Snow at the Castro Castle is also something different than the snow in Minnesota.
Well, no, it does, because sometimes your ears are up your nose. Different places like that.
I wasn't even sure that the Castro Castle existed till the third time I was there. I was like, did all that shit just happen? It was like Tijuana, but down the street.
Right. Very much so.
But Canada grows a lot of cannabis, and it snows up there, so I'm guessing it's a lot of indoor cultivation.
Yeah, but when you're the expense they're literally getting to minus 11, I think, is like their natural temperature for wintertime.
That's gross.
It's pretty cold up there.
I was supposed to move to Minnesota. It was that or Southern California, and I chose
an easy
Southern
choice.
California. Yeah, now I get to do this as opposed to ice sculpting or something Minnesotan.
Snow ain't great when you got to live in it.
Building snowmen.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
We do have call lines too. We have not yet figured them out, but we were gonna get a thing. We can't remember the name of the thing yet.
No, I
But
can tell you what that is.
Paul
yeah.
said when he remembers the name, then we are gonna get this thing, and then you guys can call in mass, and it won't cut off Cooper.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Mark,
Yeah.
thank thank you for protecting me from the crackhead today.
Dude.
You actually looked like you were pulling out your phone waiting to capture something. I was like, this dude looked like he's so ready to film something right now.
No, I just didn't want to catch that rock to the face.
Is that? That rock was coming to me. The rock was definitely coming at me.
No, well, you know
He
what?
couldn't, if he could hold it, it kept dropping
If he would
it.
have went either this way or this way, he wouldn't have been able to hold on to it.
Yeah.
And it would have went back towards me.
Yeah, it was a
So that would have been terrible.
very unique experience. Mark, first of all, when I get up there, you go up this little side road, or the stairs that you can, to where it's an outside area where you're allowed to smoke anything.
Right. Welcome to San
But
Francisco.
Mark's standing in the space between the gate and the door, so it's maybe 18 inches of space. You know, he's just wedged in the side smoking, and then I come up and get wedged in it too. Yeah, because it's more fun that way.
Right.
Yeah, it was like sardines, literally like a pack. Like if Paul and Wayne would have been up there, we could have took a picture and just been a bunch of dudes trapped.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing was, he opened the gate, like it opened. He was there by choice. It was like, oh, we're trapped, and he was like, oh no, it opens right up.
Yeah.
I keep looking at you, Benji, as if you could see me when I look in the monitor.
Didn't he have a?
I can see you on the stream.
You can't see
Wasn't there a
it.
bottle of alcohol near him too?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, he
when
had
I
a
walked
big
by,
bottle.
Yeah, he had, and it still
It was
had
good
some
stuff.
in it.
It was
still
good
had some
stuff.
in it.
Four Roses is really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And he was at the bottom of that bottle.
Yeah, but the thing is before you came up, he like did this maneuver where he like poured a lot of it out for the homies. Like he must have had a lot of dead homies because he pulled out like half that bottle. Yeah. His homies are drunk right now, dude. His homies are stoked on being dead.
Was that a snare drum?
I know. I heard it. No, it sounded. When it sounded like his jingle bells.
Oh yeah, that might have been Jingle Bells.
Jingle bells, jingle
That's cool. Christmas is coming up. Make sure you donate to something. Find a cause that you believe in and give a little to it. It doesn't hurt. You make somebody else's day better. We do have a toy drive at the Ahern Casino December 23rd at Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're not
close from the
signed up.
castle.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that'll be the toy drive at the Castro Castle.
Yeah, it's a different.
It's actually driving a toy.
It's a drive-through.
Into someone's castle.
It's just like,
Excuse me.
I remember Brian Perone, Dennis's brother, would play piano. Like he would be playing
yeah,
piano up there, beautiful piano.
Great.
It was such. You know, in like what's that? What's the one with Keanu Reeves and he's beating the crap?
The
out-
Matrix.
No, better.
John Wick.
Actually, they both had this place. So in The Matrix and in John Wick, there's this place that all the good guys, bad guys, every guys can go to, and it's peace there. You know, there's no inflection. Yeah, like the hotel in John Wick. And that's what Castro Castle is. Because there's times I'd go there, there's like only one other person in comedy that's in weed world, and I hate his guts. But we're all there at the same time. Everybody's cool. Nobody jumps on each other. Everybody just smoke weed, and we'll pick up the war later.
That's interesting.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
why I said it. I was hoping you would think
Yeah.
it. I gave you eye contact for that, too.
No, I'm sitting here. I'm listening. The fudge is just like I feel like I have fudge.
No, you
in
have
my
fudge
ears.
all in your teeth.
I know.
It's just a thing right now.
It's delicious. Amy Fisher, fudge.
Amy Fisher's a go.
She would go around HempCon back in the day wearing it was like a green potato sack with the boobs cut out.
I remember those.
The boobs were fishnetted out.
Those.
And she would reach deep into her pocket and like all the way to the elbow, you know. And she's like, "Would you like some fudge?"
find some
And she would
fudge.
go, "It's a little melted," and you just like almost licking it off her hand, like, "Thank you," and be fucking wasted. That's not an F word if I didn't pronounce the K. I said the C, but not the K. There's a short C on that one. Forget about it.
People on 6th Street do the same thing. They put their hand down their pants and they pull out this melted stuff that they call as fudge. But I tried it and it's not.
That's not fudge.
It's not fudge. I tried it.
But there's peanuts in it.
I heard that's where it's made, though.
Yeah, right. It's like that Chappelle bit. It's not chocolate. It's doo-doo, baby.
What is your message to the world?
Get your kids off Adderall and give them more attention, probably.
Well, if your kid doesn't take Adderall, how are they going to pay attention?
No.
Isn't that what the Adderall's for?
Adderall's meth, so it's just meth pills. And
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. I was on 120 milligrams of it every day for breakfast. So
Today?
no. I have like a year and a half clean off of it.
Clean like you weren't prescribed.
No,
How do you find Adderall every day? You go beat up a 12-year-old?
no. I was a strip club manager.
I don't understand how that correlates.
You know, strippers.
Aren't strippers all on Adderall right now? Adderall, I've done for you.
But no, you can find anything in a strip club. But that was I had
Well,
started
back
doing
when I worked there, everybody did meth and coke.
right, and so meth has just turned into Adderall. Adderall is this generation's meth because it's methyl.
Yeah, no
It's
fentanyl. Nice prescribed.
No, there's fentanyl. It's all over the streets out here.
Yeah.
They love it. That's
right, and that's how I started. Was when I was a kid. My mom and my dad had me on Adderall. And
See, you hear that, baby mama number 2? If you're watching, you're giving the kid all this stuff, and you turn out I'm doing comedy, doing 120 milligrams for breakfast and fudge for lunch.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just won my CPS case.
So that's probably my message. It just keeps standing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a gateway.
Yeah.
It's a gateway. Paul, what's your message to the world? We still have like 4 minutes I got to kill.
My message to the world is, you know what? Keep standing.
Did you eat the
up for what you
fudge?
believe
I
in.
can't even see your eyes.
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of fudge.
Shit.
I'm up to here.
Yeah,
with
you're like,
He's jam-packed.
Hey, damn the couple.
fudge. Yeah. And my dabs had fudge.
There we go. There it is. There it is.
And then he dabs some fudge. Yeah.
What's your message to the world?
My message to the world is keep standing up and doing what you believe in.
That was his message?
No, it's what's on his shirt.
Yeah, I know, but you said it first, therefore you own it, and now he
but-
jacked
wait.
your message to the world.
Yeah. So, but I mean, really, everybody has their way of being an activist.
Oh,
It
this is
could
our
be-
Christmas episode, huh? Because Christmas is like this weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So what's your Christmas
I
message
didn't know
to
what
the
to
world?
get you. It sounds like Benji's is cheering for us. I heard glassware somewhere.
Benji, think about your message to the world. Just keep
My message
standing
to the
up.
world?
Is that was your message? What's Benji? What's your message? Everybody, just say your message to the world.
Be good to other people.
Well, that's true.
Don't be a dick.
There you go.
Passion and love.
And Amy Fisher says, show
Pretty simple.
compassion and love and understanding.
And check in on everybody for mental health this season,
Ooh.
please.
Oh yeah.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, everybody sat out there. Get them to a stage. Tell them to do 10 minutes. It makes you feel real better. And
we should learn from the suicide of the guy that worked for Ellen. Mitch. Twitch. And he was 40 and he shot himself. What the hell is that about?
Where did he shoot himself?
I'm sorry?
That was a bad joke.
No, but the thing of it is, even though my point is going to be this,
Tag a
even
suicide
though
line.
someone
Good.
says they are all right, if you feel that that's not so, go for your feeling.
Yeah.
Go for your feeling. Sometimes you can mask, I'm okay, but if you know that person or that spirit, oh, no, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Just
true.
don't lose that in the holiday spirit, feeling your other friends and family members.
I'm more suicides these days. I think it's a weak generation. And I'm like, I get frowned on when I say that, but back in the day, when you grew up like a man, you'd learn how to take your problems like a man, and you bottled up all that emotion, you kept it inside. Whereas now everybody's so open and free-flowing that the drama just overwhelms them. And
Although, if you think about one of the most famous Christmas movies, opens up with a suicide scene.
Who?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy
He's
Stewart.
gonna throw himself off the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And he's saved.
Yeah.
yeah,
By who?
Die Hard, Bruce
By-
Willis, that whole movie was a
Yeah, he's
suicide
saved
to his
by Bruce
career.
Willis.
There we go. No, point well taken. Point well taken.
Yeah, so.
All right, everybody, thank you again, Mr. Wayne Justman, Mark Neuer,
Thank you.
Paul Brumbaugh, Amy Fisher, Benji Cooper.
Edge Studios.
I am Medicinal Mike. Make sure you're watching Edge Studios online. Help it grow. If you have a show out there and you think you're awesome and people give a crap what you say, bring your butt down here because we have spaces and we're building a whole community. Stay tuned next week, baby, because it's Tuesday. We'll talk to you then. Have a great night.
Peace.
And